Hey, welcome back everyone. Here on another episode of In the Community with Dr. Matt. And I'm actually joined today by Maha Kali Jaya. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Perfect, good. So we're just having a conversation before we go on the show here. I had a little introduction blurb, and I know we were going to talk today just about being more present, which I think is really valuable in a society where we're always looking at alerts or social media or updates and reminders and everything else and go. I think this is really beneficial. And just learning to be in tune and breathing, and even teaching a short 2-minute meditation that you can take home today. Is that where we're going?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm going to read your introduction and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Sound good? So Maha Kali Jaya is a new graduate of ancient lineage yoga, Kali Natha Yoga, right?
Yes.
Maha Kali Jaya is an awakened priestess, embodied divine feminine leader, and teacher as a golden age way shower specializing in quantum and energy, Reiki healing, ascension assisting modalities, as well as facilitating sacred women's circles, red tent, and the Sophia Code Circle journeys. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you on.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about this before, and I thought it would be really good for us to connect and maybe share with the audience in terms of how you started, right, and what your passion is now, and then take them through an exercise that they can do on their own.
Perfect.
Does that sound good?
Yes.
Did you want to fill everybody in on your background?
Yes. So I started this energy and yoga practice maybe almost 12 years ago, maybe longer. I was in my late 20s, early 30s, having, as everyone starts their healing journey, some ailments that I wanted to really dig deeper. And in trying to find what some of those were, I took yoga as a way to obviously decompress, de-stress, but my awareness at the time was not at that level. But just on a physical level, I definitely felt the opening and what yoga really does for the mind, body, and spirit. So that was my journey to where I am today as a teacher with this lineage and sharing the techniques of mindfulness and meditation and how it all anchors in together with the breath.
Neat. I like it.
Thank you.
So where is your work headed now? Because I know, we talked a little bit in the past few seasons in terms of graduating and whatnot, and basically reaching out to people now. And ways like this, I think, are great, right? Just in terms of raising that awareness and teaching people how to be more in tune, which I think we could all benefit from, right? So is there anything in particular, are you meeting regularly? Is there a way to get a hold of you if people want to get a hold of you?
Yeah, thank you. So I am offering bi-weekly classes every Sunday in Streetsville in Mississauga, and that's Sunday mornings. So anyone who is interested or curious to participate in this yoga practice, everybody and everybody is welcome, no matter where you are on the spectrum. And yeah, I'm looking to expand more within the community here in town, looking at the Willow Creek Ecology Center to run some meditations or some yoga or some sound baths. So the journey here is just helping everyone tap back into the wellness that they already have, or just to really reclaim the wellness aspect of health and well-being.
Neat. So did you want to, I think about breathing, I talk about it a bit in practice, but also how to incorporate it, because I think we could probably do a better job about how to incorporate it. Right? So what did you want to walk us through today?
Yes, thank you. So first and foremost, I want to give credit to where credit is due. Just to acknowledge my guru, Majaya Sati Bhagavati, and my lineage of Kalinatha Yoga for these teachings. So the first thing that I want to talk about with meditation for beginners, especially if you're curious but you're not sure where to begin, there are 7 points of concentration that help us have a deep awareness of the body and will help in meditation and concentration. So the 7 points of concentration as a beginner for yoga or meditation is the head, the eyes, the mouth, the hands, the legs, and the seat. And most importantly is the alignment of the spine.
Neat.
I thought you'd like that.
Neat.
Yeah. And then when it comes to all of those points of concentration, it's very, it's a mindfulness practice. So you have to consider how comfortable you are in a seat. So I encourage everyone as a beginner, really ask and honor your body where it's at and listen to that wisdom. You're sitting on like a bolster or a cushion, and I advise the same for everyone else. If you are just starting and you are more comfortable in a chair, sit in a chair. And it just helps with the alignment of all of those other 7 centers of concentration, because then you're not misaligned and uncomfortable.
And being more at ease.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I like my cushion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to make sure, yes, that you're comfortable and that as a beginner, you want to really allow and give yourself that grace, not pushing yourself beyond what your limitations are. So if a 2-minute meditation practice is where you need to start, I would suggest that, and then maybe work your way up to 5, up to 10, as you gradually start, allowing yourself in that stillness to just be still.
And just be.
And just be.
I think you had a good point in terms of less is more, in the sense that start with what you know you can attain.
Yes.
Like if you know you can commit to 2 minutes, commit to 2 minutes on your lunch hour when you get home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just focus on where you're going to take us.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the breath. I find that when people are doing meditation, they're trying to slow down the mind, and really the whole point and the science of meditation is the breath, and watching how we actually don't, most of us don't use the full capacity of our lungs.
Yeah.
Where most of us are shallow breathers. And
I notice that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you are becoming more aware of that, even just the science of yoga, which is also aligned to Ayurveda, in case there's anyone that's watching that's curious,
Yeah.
the breath actually has like an arrow, my apologies, like
That's
an arrow, it's like aerobic, it's like an aerobic breath. So when we breathe in and we inhale through our diaphragm and that moves outward, it allows our lungs to expand to their full capacity. And then as we exhale, the lungs and the diaphragm contract into the body, which actually creates a diaphragmatic breath massage to the internal organs.
Neat.
Yeah, and it oxygenates the bloodstream, making the blood more aerobic, which is what I was trying to say. And most dis-ease is anaerobic, meaning it thrives in an oxygen-poor environment.
Okay.
Yeah, so therefore the breath boosts the immune system, and the state of mind is linked to the flow of the breath.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I got all the important cool
Yeah.
stuff in
Oh, yeah.
there.
In terms of changing your state and changing your body.
Yeah, and I think because people are so caught up on what's going on internally in the mind, it's such a simple practice to just allow yourself to recognize, where am I breathing? how am I breathing? And, you know, I know you can attest to this, when we can just slow down and take a moment to breathe, we can regulate our nervous system, we can regulate our thoughts and our heart rate. And I guess the goal here, like you do with all your testing at the office, is how quickly we can move back from a stressful state into a relaxed state or a more relaxed state.
Yeah,
and it's all important. Based on the breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say about the breath. There are different ways that you can attain this this feeling in your body, and it is to keep a straight spine. You want to make sure that your hips are square to your shoulders and that your ears are sitting above that, so that you're square and you're centered, is what we like to say. And you want to make sure that you're not resting on your tailbone. So if you need to move the flesh out from under your glutes, just to give you a more grounded seat, I would highly suggest that, just so you really feel like the spine and the body is more supported by the muscles underneath you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat.
Thanks. So what else did I want to talk to you about that? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And that when you start your practice of meditation, it's important to have a space where you can really allow yourself to be in that stillness for however long you are wanting to be meditating.
Okay.
So just to make sure and be mindful that, you know, you have a space that maybe there's no distractions. I would suggest maybe a space that is kind of clear of clutter, because I find that it definitely affects your mental state, especially if you're going to tap in and go within. You kind of want to open your eyes and feel peace.
A clear physical space, it definitely helps with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I can't remember if it was you and I talking about just purging things and clearing things out. Were we talking about that? Maybe somebody else.
It's probably somebody else, but
Yeah.
that's my golden
I like
rule.
that. Clean physical space and more clear mind, and go from there.
Yeah, it's like a reflection, the inner, the outer.
Feedback.
Yep. And yes, when you are sitting in your seat, it's always just best to be present. That's all this practice is really teaching us, along with the breath, because when we are in situations that might be stressful, or we've got a lot of things on our mind, when we can tap back in and tap back into our breath and come back to that state of not so much stillness, but where you can feel that inner peace and your regulations start to balance out again.
You say like the word ease?
Yes.
More ease?
More ease.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you're really just trying to attain, is just the ease and the peace of the breath, that you're alive and you're
That's
living.
something we're grateful for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another important thing about the breath, because we're talking about having a more diaphragmic breath, in yoga this is called an ujjayi breath, or an ocean sounding breath.
Right.
And the way that you would attain that is to maybe lower the back of the throat so that it's open, so that when you take an inhale through your nose and you puff out your belly, and you exhale, and it just begins to sound like an ocean as you continue to sit in that stillness. And you want to be mindful that on the inhale, your belly actually puffs out so that it can fill the lungs in the bottom chambers as well, which is the most important. And then as you exhale, you're pulling the belly button towards your spine, and that is clearing the lungs and the diaphragm of breath, which is also clearing out any stagnation energetically. Yeah. And I think, when you share your practices of physical training, the breath comes hand in hand, when you start to become more aware of the things that you're doing that is aligning with your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, which I think is important if you follow along, you probably realize I enjoy physical activity and lifting. But in terms of changing your state from even going to the office to be present with patients or going to the gym, right? And your breath has so much to do with regulation and I'm hoping today that you can become more aware of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
and
all
I
it
can
is.
too, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. And, this is considered, or breathing this way is considered a yogic breath, because the ancient yogis and the science behind it, even, in Tibetan and Buddhism, they all knew that the technology of the breath was so important that when you can correspond it to an action, if you're, let's say, going to pick up a basket, you would maybe align your inhale with lifting and then your exhale to when you stand up. Yeah. So your actions become very mindful with the movements. Yes.
Yeah, and if you can be more aware of your core and your diaphragm,
yes, it's
protective.
Yes.
In terms of how you move every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm trying to keep this at a basics, a 101. So I'm going to move into how the mindfulness, awareness, and breath come together. So when you are breathing like this in a way that's more aware, and you're taking that inhale, and then you're making that exhale, there's something that comes into the mind when you're just allowing yourself to sit in stillness for however long. You'll begin to feel like your awareness becomes liberation, and that liberation is awareness of great awareness.
It's all a cycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just interesting that the more mindful you become of your awareness and how the breath is all attached to that, then, like we were saying, it's easier for you to come back out of a stressful situation, or even maybe something that is going through your mind or your body, for you to just reset. And it really doesn't take that long for you to come back into that peaceful state. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of us are so used to the hustle and bustle and the overdoing and the multitasking that really the simplicity of our breath is really just a reminder to, we're here, it's cool, you got this, and just to tap in back that way.
Be more present.
Be more present.
Cool.
Yeah. So the breath is also linked to, in like Chinese medicine, in Ayurvedic medicine, it's linked to the life force of each individual. So the greater you can just tap into that breath, the more life force you're actually bringing back into your body, which would make sense, because if you're in a high stress, fight or flight mode all the time, and you're breathing really shallow, you're not bringing that oxygen back to your body, and then you might be stuck in a mindset or a mind state that keeps you from really being peaceful, whatever that is, and being present.
Yeah, it just changes your oxygen levels and brings up your awareness and probably your alertness too.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, so that's all I have to speak about with The beginning or the basics to meditation is just allow yourself 2 minutes to start if you find that 5 minutes is too long. And that way there's no judgment on yourself and you're not criticizing the self for what you can actually do in this present moment. And what is actually the best practice is that you are already perfect in your present moment.
I like that. Yeah, and you know, just reminding someone that they're perfect and right where you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, did you want to do you want to try something?
Yeah. So I have my timer set for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I figure we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it basic, and we're going to just notice the breath for 2 minutes. Come back to the breath, and every time that your mind or your ego starts to go somewhere else, just watch it.
Yeah.
Without judgment, without having to give any advice or criticism, and just watch it fall away. Come back to your breath. That's all it is. You're just coming back and coming back. And if a situation in your brain keeps telling you something else, just remember you're still sitting. You're still coming back to your breath.
Okay.
Yeah, coming back to the present moment.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
Did you want to guide us?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
So I just wanted to ensure everyone who is participating in this practice that I will be keeping time, so you can feel safe and trust that in 2 minutes I will summon you out of it. But you can really just relax and take this moment for yourself to come back to the present moment.
Neat. All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Cool. So let's just start by closing our eyes. If closing your eyes is not a part of your practice, you can maybe keep a soft gaze looking at the ground and just coming back to the breath. Notice your inhaling and your exhale. And notice the rise of your belly and your chest and the fall as you exhale. As we are completing this 2-minute meditation, just taking another deep inhale into your chest, filling up your belly. And on the exhale, give yourself gratitude for giving yourself this time to just be present in the present moment with mindful awareness.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think I noticed the biggest thing is just would you say letting your throat relax?
Mm-hmm.
And I found letting my jaw relax and my shoulders come down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where you don't realize you necessarily have tension until you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and breathing.
Yes. Yeah. And you become more aware of where some of your tension is in your body. And when you can just start breathing, and yeah, you just breathe deeply through your nose and into the back, everything just starts to melt a little bit more.
That's a good way to put it.
Softens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yes. So thank you.
Thanks for being on with us.
Yeah. Hopefully
Yeah.
you can tap back in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And just I think that's very valuable for people watching just when you're so busy, and even spending 2 minutes to become more aware, and help change your state, as you said, like oxygenate everything, and just bring your awareness and your alertness up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and be more calm.
And be
So
more
you can
calm.
be the best version of you out there. Right? Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I just wanted to add that breathing through your mouth is not the correct way for breathing.
Right.
So in case anyone is having a difficult time, I would maybe, give yourself that grace to maybe try and give yourself that space to come back to the breath through your nose if that's possible. But if not, just giving yourself that time, that space, and that presence just to breathe.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right. We'll be working on it. Shall we sign off?
I think so.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being on with me today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great having you. And for those of you who have questions, please put them below. And of course, I'll put Maha Kali's information on there as well. And we can go from there. Yeah. So, you guys have yourselves a great day. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye.